Hey folks, welcome back to the Cabbage Coins podcast. My name is Tony Gryckiewicz. I am the owner operator of Cabbage Coins. Today I have a fun little episode. We are on our way back from the Baltimore Whitman Expo, and I thought I'd reach out to my friend John Brush. John is the president of DLRC, and DLRC, for those who don't know, is one of the largest coin companies kind of in this business. They have amazing coins. They also have like an auction that runs pretty frequently. I think it's every Sunday night, and they're one of the largest, nicest, best companies kind of in this numismatic market. I've always kind of set my kind of goal to kind of be like DLRC one day in building up Cabbage Coins. But I was super excited to have John. John agreed to have this podcast with me, talk a little bit about the Baltimore Whitman Expo that we just both returned from. It was a very good show for me. I don't know how did it go for DLRC?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tony. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I will say, as I was going home on Friday night, I said, that was probably one of the busier, most active Baltimore shows we've had in quite some time. It was just nonstop, start to finish. Didn't get back to the hotel room until like 10:30 every night. Start at 8 o'clock. It was intense. It was really busy.
Yeah, from your perspective, what stood out this time in terms of like the market energy, dealer participation, collector turnout? What would you say was kind of the thing that really stood out?
Well, since John Feigenbaum and the team at CDN Publishing bought Whitman, it seems like every show they're trying something a little new, and they're kind of trying to grow the show and make it a little bit more relevant. So, I a couple of things that happened at this show is the first day they did a PNG day, which is
Hmm.
basically a dealer only day on Wednesday, which is typically we get to set up in Wednesday evening, like 5 to 8 p.m. or something. But this time it was a full on day of trading between dealers starting at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. And setup actually started from 5 to 8. So it was literally, you could be on the board store from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So it instead of having people trading in the hotel rooms or in the meeting rooms at the convention center on Wednesday, it was you're on the board floor, you moved your table, you set it up, and you were just going all day Wednesday. So it was
Yeah.
that first day starting with that, I think it kind of changed a little bit of the flow of the show. So then when the retail came in at noon on Thursday, you know, the dealers had already done a lot of their trading. You had new coins to put out, and it was constant activity as the show moves along. So it was their fall show, their November winter show is always like out of the three shows they have each year, this is kind of their big event. This is the
Mm.
biggest of the three shows that they do, and they kind of try to they add in a couple of little nuances. They have podcasts going on. They have TV crews there. They're always trying to highlight different things for the November show, which makes it kind of fun. It adds a lot. They have the colonial collectors meetings, the barber society meetings. The mint director, the new to be finalized mint director was in attendance. They had the U.S. Mint set up. There was just a lot going on.
Yeah, I agree. There was definitely a lot going on. I thought the traffic was really pretty good. For those who don't know what PNG is, if we have some aspiring numismatists out there, aspiring coin dealers out there, could you explain just for a minute what is what is PNG?
Sure, sure. Great question. The PNG is a professional numismatist guild. It's a great network. It's a great network of dealers. We put in a lot of work towards education, towards consumer protection, and
Yeah,
just dealer issues and tax issues and that kind of thing. So it's a professional organization of coin dealers, and
yeah.
they host the occasional what they call PNG day at 2 or 3 shows a year. It's just a dealer only trading day.
Yeah, I'm not yet a member of the PNG. I would like to be very well soon. I think one of the advantages that I could tell from wanting to join, and one of the reasons I would like to join, is when you're a new dealer, it takes a while, I think, really to get your name out there or to build a reputation as just being a solid guy and being a solid dealer. That the fact that like your check is going to be good, that's an important piece. I've gone through transactions where I've been kind of trading coins for about the past 5 years, mostly online. People know me on Instagram. Now they know me through this YouTube channel. They've seen me around some coin shows. But I remember I was just at the Pan show, And I got done with a deal, and it wasn't even a very large deal, but I just said, is the check okay? And the dealer, was like, "Who are you? Can anybody vouch for you in this room?" And the advantage of being a PNG dealer is I just simply say, "Well, I'm a PNG dealer," and that kind of helps clear me that you're part of this organization, a recognized organization that all of every other dealer knows of. So
Yeah,
that's why I said,
and one thing, I'll send the application your way actually after this. But
okay,
it really sets you apart as a professional. And originally the founding concept was a group of dealers that they wanted to make sure that again, if you wrote a check, it's good.
yeah,
It's we vet members. The quality of, there's a code of ethics that you have to follow. And I mean, you would be the perfect addition as a PNG member, Tony. I mean, knowing how you operate your business and knowing your personal standards of ethics, et cetera. I mean, it's people like you are exactly the kind of members that they want, but it really just kind of removes doubt.
nice. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. So what I noticed this year, we arrived on Wednesday for dealer setup, probably around 4:30, maybe close to 5 p.m. So while I was setting up my table, there was so much other business that was already taking place around me, and because of that fact, I did not buy that many coins at this show. I anticipated buying a lot more across the table, and while I got to meet a lot of my viewers out there, people that I've done business with before that brought me coins to purchase. The room is so large. I didn't get to do as much buying as I would have liked to do at a show this large. And I think in part because there was so much activity that was taking place a full day ahead of time before I set up. So I think this is, if I'm going to invest in the Baltimore show, becoming a PNG dealer, I think probably makes a whole lot more sense for me too. So definitely going to look into that. So just to back up a little bit for those who are not familiar with DLRC, what can you tell us about DLRC in terms of its history, focus, what sets you guys apart in terms of today's market, and also, like how did you eventually take the helm, at the company?
Wow,
It's a lot,
there's a
right?
lot to pack into a short
Okay,
answer here.
sure.
But David Lawrence Rare Coins was founded in 1979 by David Lawrence Feigenbaum, and it, he was a vest pocket dealer initially,
Hmm.
and a marine biologist. And as his career took him away from marine biology, he didn't receive a tenure as a professor. And at that point, he said, "You know what? Well, I guess I'm going to have to go straight into coins." And he had
Hmm.
been doing a mail order business for years, and he moved into coins. He was a scientist, researcher type. Wrote the book on barber coinage that many people have seen. It's on the Newman portal, but great reference guide for all barber dimes, quarters, and halves. But eventually, David's son, John Feigenbaum, took over the company and worked with David for many years. I came to work for John in 2006, and I've been here so almost 20 years now, I guess. And I came on just to buy and to do more of the wholesale trading, buy
Hmm.
more coins for the website, sell coins wholesale basis, that kind of thing. And over time, it just turned out to be a wonderful fit. I love coins. John doesn't love coins so much. John was more of a desktop publishing kind of guy, and marketing and technology, and super
Hmm.
smart guy, but incredibly knowledgeable about coins, but it wasn't really his passion. Um, Coins have always been my passion. So I think over time, John had the opportunity eventually to partner with a couple other people to buy the Gray Sheet CDN Publishing. And he looked at me and said, "John, I'm going to do this. You have approximately a year to figure out what we're going to do. Are we going to close down DLRC, or, you have the opportunity to buy it?" I looked at John, I'm like, "Well, I don't have the money to buy it, finance it, or anything like that." But we had a great group of people here. We still have a number of those people here. And I said, it would be a shame to close it down. And then one day, just happened to be talking to a new customer of ours, and His name was Deloy Hansen, and I was helping him get on the website because he was having password issues on a Sunday evening. And he was telling me about what he did with just casual conversation. He owns many different companies,
Yeah.
invested in many companies, real estate. I mean, serial entrepreneur, really. I said, have you ever thought about buying a coin company? He's like, no. I'm like, well, why not? He's like, well, no one's ever offered one to me. So I was like,
Sure.
I have one. Do you want to talk?
Okay.
And he had told me his collecting goals were to collect a coin from everything, literally every circulation issue from 1792 to present ever made by the U.S. Mint. And I told him that's crazy and impossible. And so you probably need a coin dealer to help you. He's like, well, that wouldn't hurt. And 4 months later, we had bought the company, and John, we worked out the deal. And my job is to run the company and to help manage his collection. And he would help us on the financial side with and on the banking and
Yeah.
business relation pieces. And so we bought the company, and for in 2019, I guess. Yeah, since then, we rebranded it from David Lawrence Rare Coins to DLRC 2 years ago. Just too many words and too many letters.
Yeah.
But we've been, our focus is collectors. It's not selling to dealers. We do online auctions. We've been doing online auctions since the Richmond sale. We do thousands of coins every month. They're more curated sales. We're not looking to throw phone book auctions out there. That's not our goal. Our goal is to offer new coins every week in our Sunday sales. And then we have also a Thursday called our Red Carpet Rarities, which are like kind of the highlight collection-based sales. So if you had a collection that you wanted to sell and you want it to be your auction, we can do that for you. But Sunday nights are our main weekly events. We also have the weekly Thursday events that run about a month. But our focus is on collectors, building collections. When the time comes to selling their collections, helping people build their collections, but not. Our goal isn't to get our coins in front of other dealers. Our goal is to get the coins in front of other end user collectors because we want to have the opportunity to buy them back again one day.
Yeah.
You would love to sell a coin to a collector at a show with someone you have a relationship with instead of selling it to me, because you might get the chance to buy that coin back again when they're trading it back or somebody else. So that's our whole concept of business. And we have about 25 to 30 people that work here. And we love what we do. We're collectors.
I had the fortunate opportunity recently to come visit you guys. I was very impressed with the office, and I love your staff. I say I love your staff. It sounds pretty intense. I think you guys are great.
It's okay. I love them too.
I think you guys are great. I recently I had lunch with John Call and had a chance to hang out with him and Jack and look through some coins, and that was a fantastic time. That was in preparation for the Virginia Beach show. So jumping back into the show, what from your perspective was really selling at this year's Baltimore show in terms of the collector crowd that came through the doors on Thursday? What was hot from your perspective at the table of the LRC?
It's kind of funny, Tony, because you say you weren't able to buy as much as you'd like. And I was raving about the show. But when you asked me what was hot and what sold at the show, our focus really at a coin show, we bring a couple hundred coins and we put them on display and we have them out there. But honestly, our goal isn't really to sell at the show. I mean, we'd love to sell coins that we have with us at the show, but it's not really our focus. Our focus is more about getting a consignment, buying coins, and meeting collectors that are customers. So most of our sales happen in the office. So, we have 10,000 coins here for sale or whatever the number is, give or take, depending on the week. But,
Yeah.
when I kind of look and see what's selling in general, coins that are PCGS graded with CACG stickers are selling easiest coins to sell. They run out the door. I mean, I'm sure you experience the same thing. You can't replace those coins quickly enough. We have a lot of people that have really appreciate the CACG holders. Now they don't sell as quickly as the others, but the coins and the holder quality are top notch. And they present really well. little
Yeah.
bit more difficult to sell because the registry isn't as developed as the PCGS registry goes. But classic coins pre 1964 across the board that are nice quality with nice eye appeal are what sells.
Yeah.
And we've have zero problem moving those coins along, and replacing them is the challenge. I mean, when you sell one, it's hard to go find another one. But that seems to be what's kind of the hot spot of the market right now. We sell modern coins and that kind of thing, but I can't ever tell you anybody gets really excited about modern coins. I think it's
Yeah.
there's some collectors that like them and we sell them, and I understand them, but our focus is on the pre 1964 vintage classic US coins, and nice coins seem to be selling very easily.
Yeah. Yeah. I did end up selling a 1795 bust dollar that, for those who remember the podcast I did back in the A&A World's Fair Money Review with Kenny Duncan, I had brought that coin up on the screen. That coin sold at this show. I was able to place that with a collector, and I felt like I also have a 1795 flowing here dollar right now that's going to be probably on my website by the time this episode airs. And that coin, between those two, I was asked a lot about that. I feel like that bust market, that early coin, the early silver dollar market is really pretty hot right now. That's kind of what I'm sensing, and my only fear with selling the things is then replacing them, because I want to have the inventory, the things that people get excited about. I found that there were a lot of people looking for gold. I mean, the gold prices and silver prices being where they're at, there was a lot of people walking the floors looking for deals on bullion, and that's just kind of part of a coin show. On the topic of the CACG holders and CAC grading, I agree with you. I think that their holder, the product itself, is really nice. I like it quite a bit. That being said, I've had some coins that I thought were going to really fly out the door from my inventory that haven't, and they've been inside one of those holders. An example being, I've got this 1889 Carson City in AU53 in a CAC grading holder. It's got a lovely kind of reddish brownish patina. I would say it's one of the most attractive Carson City dollars that I've ever owned, circulated Carson City dollars that I've ever owned. And I've had that coin for a while now. And it's in a CAC grading company, holder. And I think if I had to create a theory, it would just be that the coin is a perfect coin for somebody's PCGS registry set, but it's not in a PCGS holder with a sticker. It's still in that CAC holder. So do you feel like folks are warming up to that grading, or what have you noticed on that front?
That's a great question. I think that the product that's on the market has been widely accepted, or especially early on. Strange that you mentioned 89cc. I had an 89cc and a CACG AU58 holder, which sometimes you've seen a coin just too many times, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
ready for it. You're trying to get rid of it any
Mm-hmm.
way, shape, or form. And it's a coin that sticks in the back of my mind because I could not sell the coin, could not get rid of it. I was ready to take a loss, and it took forever to sell the
Hmm.
coin. And you know, it's the market is not fully developed, is how I would put it for CAC grading. You look at that and say, I think it's going to take time for that product to be widely accepted in the marketplace on the collector side. The coins are nice, but as a collector mentality, it seems like the last 5 years or so, the collector mentality is registry sets have always been popular. They've always been hot. And
Mm-hmm.
there have always been a lot of registry collectors, but it seems that a large number of collectors really just want to fill in their sets.
Yeah.
And that seems to be, PCGS has a large lead on that over everyone. And PCGS registry sets are always that's the marketing angle that you always hear. People are talking about that. Like, hey, look at my registry set. And they send you a link to a PCGS registry set. Now, CACG registry actually programmatically works far better than the PCGS registry set, but it doesn't have the support yet. So
Yeah.
I like the product. I've had no problem selling the coins in general, but there are some coins that just kind of sit there a little bit longer than what you would think should be. And I'm sure it's the same as your 89cc. It's just sitting there, and you're
Yeah.
like, sometimes it takes too long to find the customer, longer than what we think it should.
So I would say that the number one subject that seems to the collectors seem to have the biggest question about, collectors and dealers together both, would be whether or not a coin that's within that holder is equivalent to the same grade in a PC holder with a sticker. They always have that question, in terms of price guides, because we all know that there is a gray sheet for non-stickered coins and there's a gray sheet for stickered coins. So what's your thoughts about that? I mean, I've seen some coins that, are in CACG holders at a particular stated grade, and I have a tough time in picturing that coin in a PC with a sticker kind of scenario.
Wow. Full disclosure, I am an investor in CAC gradings, but I try to look at things as independently because I'm not active with them. It's
Sure.
just, they have many dealers that invested in their startup.
Yeah.
The theory behind it is that yes, any coin in their holder, they would sticker if it was in another company's holder. Now, do I find that stickering and grading sometimes have different grading lines? I think that's absolutely the fact, and the reason being is that anytime that you have grading is subjective. Anytime that you have someone looking at your coins, if I woke up and I had a wonderful morning and my breakfast was perfect and my commute was great and I'm grading coins that day, I'm probably going to be in a pretty good mood. But if my dog ran out in the backyard and I had to go chase it down, and then the commute got bad and there's a lot of traffic, or I burned my eggs, that's going to set me off and make the day not as bright and cheery. So I look at grading and say it's so subjective that that's why so many people end up submitting coins multiple times, is that they want to get the grader on that good day. And if that coin is one that'll grade 8 times out of 10 as the lower grade because the grader is, not a positive outlook on the day, but then
Yeah.
the other 2 days they can hit them on the good day, that it changes the perspective of the grade. So kind of looking at that, I think your question, it's a fair one, but I think it kind of goes across the lines of all grading in that it is so subjective. But the standard for CAC grading is that if it's in CAC grading, it's an AU55 holder. It doesn't matter if that coin's in a PCGS or an NGC holder, they would put a sticker on the coin.
I see.
So that's what they say, and that's their standard. It's also, if you buy a coin with a sticker on it, as long as it's not a plus grade, they will cross it over into their holder at the same grade. So that's also their reholder legacy crossover policy.
Yeah, I got one for them. I got got one definitely that I need to get crossed into a CACG holder. Cool, very cool. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the transparency and the honesty in responding to that. It's a good perspective. I've described it to people somewhat similarly, and I thought that the number on the holder there for the grade would be the minimum grade at which this coin would receive a sticker at one of the other grading services. So yeah, I have always defended the fact that the CACG coin that's an AU53 is equivalent to the same thing, at PC or NGC with a sticker. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And at least that's absolutely the way that they are being traded in the market. Now, if a coin doesn't have great eye appeal, it's going to typically trade a little bit less anyway, regardless. So
no one wants ugly coins.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of the opposite of ugly coins, and I want to bring up some coins that we both picked up from the show. I'm going to start off with yours, and let me go ahead and share. Okay, so taking a look at our first coin here, we have this 1825 copper cent. I believe they call this the matron head cent, and it's lovely. It's got a wonderful red color. I do enjoy the kind of very nice original surfaces and patina on this coin. So tell us a little bit about why you selected this one for one of your favorite pickups from the show.
Well, this is kind of a fun coin. It's a PCGS graded coin, MS65, with a CAC sticker.
Okay.
Um, a dealer friend of ours walked up from the Northeast to this coin and with the coin to me, and it had a pedigree on it. It has a pedigree of the B-Max Mail collection. Now, my son Wes attends the shows with me. He's 16 years old. He's more of a the word we use in the industry, it's not derogatory. It's kind of a coin nerd. He really
Okay.
likes the history of the coins and the pedigrees and that kind of thing. And B Max Mill is a dealer from Fort Worth, Texas, in the early 1900s, and he was kind of the Barnum and Bailey of coin collecting. He
Hmm.
produced this catalog and called the Star Rare Coin Encyclopedia, dealt in all the rarest of the coins. He was the one that put out a bounty for 1913 V nickel initially. Just a real character of a guy.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
but he didn't really collect coins. So when I saw this coin, it had that pedigree. I'm like, and Wesley saw it over my shoulder, and he got really excited. I could see it in his face, and he's like, "What?" But so there's only, and I could be slightly off in this, but only a few coins can be traced back to B Max Mel's personal collection. And we've literally just started doing the research on this coin, which is Wesley came into the office early today on Monday morning with me. He's like, I'm going to figure out where this coin came from.
Hmm.
And we've traced the pedigree back to 1923 to a guy named William Festus Morgan. And it traded hands, and then the coin ended up in the NASCAR collection, the Ted NASCAR collection. It's also gone through the hands of Terry Denman, who's one of the foremost copper collectors around right now. But it just, the coin was a stunning coin as a gem, PCGS graded with a CAC sticker. Saw the coin, like, oh my goodness, this is a stunning coin. And then with the pedigree and going back into history on it, you know, the dealer that offered it to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that coin. It just got
Hmm.
me really excited. It was clearly just a neat piece, and
Yeah.
just got me really excited. Like, and I'm like,
Sure.
oh, that's the kind of coin I want.
Yeah.
So
I would love to know the pedigree on a lot of the coins that I own right now or the stuff that I've had in the past. Some amazing things. Yeah, it's been through a lot of hands, a lot of interesting hands. Who knows through the course of history, and especially when you can tie it to somebody that is significant in history, numismatic history. That is pretty cool. Great story you can add to the coin. So, what is this one? So, this is this. I think this is a pattern, right? This is a seated. Is this a dime? What is this?
it's a seated dime. It actually, Jack Smith, that works with me here at DLRC, found the coin on the bourse floor, and supposedly the coin was purchased off of out of in a storefront, uncertified, and submitted. Now the coin's graded by PCGS. It has a CAC sticker. I'm gonna get the Judd number here and tell it to you really quickly, but it's a beautiful coin. That True View actually makes it look really nice. It's
Yeah,
very accurate because it has a lot of color to it. I
yeah.
wasn't sure if we were going to be able to capture the color on it, but it's just such a it's a Judd 717, and it was
Okay.
graded by PCGS as Proof 65 red brown, and it has a CAC sticker to it. But it was just such a cool coin that Jack brought it over, like, can we buy this? Can we buy this? And he was like asking for affirmation on it because patterns are a little bit of a weird item sometimes to buy, and there's not a lot of history to some sales history to some of them. So we had to really dive into it, and in the end, we're like, okay, let's figure out how to buy this coin. But it's just a beautiful, neat, unusual item.
So, how can you explain for the public a little bit out there? This is gonna be education for me too. So, this is a dime. So, this is a seated dime, but this is graded with a copper designation. As I read here, this stands for silver, I believe, nickel, and copper. And so, this is
Right.
some kind of an alloy combination of the three that the equivalent becomes 10 cents. Is that kind of the way it works?
Yeah, all patterns were essentially produced as test coins, or items to see if the government likes the design. Kind of like it's a trial piece sometimes. So what they end up doing on some, this is actually a fairly popular reverse, and they're just trying to give you a little bit of the metallic composition of the coin. But yeah, it's a seated dime. Now these kind of coins, what I find really cool is that there's so few of these that are made. Now, I don't
Yeah.
have the mintage number on this coin, but if you look up these kind of coins and you're a real student of these things, you can find some really rare items. I mean, for example, it's about an $8,000 to $9,000 coin. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe this is actually the finest known for the grade.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of a neat little piece that you can say, okay, if you find a regular standard issue coin that's with only one with finest known, you're talking six figures, but you can buy this kind of a neat historic piece for, less than $10,000. Kind of a neat item.
Yeah, there certainly is some value here. From a rarity perspective, a lot of these are a lot more rare than this typical business strike or whatever. The only kind of thing about them is that they're not, there isn't some set that this goes into, right? Correct me if
Right.
I'm wrong. I mean, unless it's
Yeah.
some kind of a pattern
They
set that you
probably
can
have
like
some
see.
kind of registry set they have a registry set for everything, but you it would be impossible to put that set together.
Yeah. So during coin shows, when folks come by the table, I always say hello to them and introduce myself. And I always ask them, are you looking for anything particular today? And one of the responses I get is, well, nothing particular, just waiting to see if something jumps out at me. I'm just looking for what kind of appeals to me or what jumps out at me. And I think patterns kind of serve that in a coin show, because with all the different coins that you have out there, you do see a lot of the same thing. You do see a lot of, Morgan dollar after Morgan dollar after Morgan dollar. So, they all kind of blend in, I think, kind of. Patterns tend to stand out as being something that's a little bit unusual, a little bit interesting. And if you want to go home with something that is just a little bit different, that kind of piques your curiosity and interest, I think patterns fits that perfectly.
It's kind of funny that you talk about Morgan dollars, Tony, because we sell more Morgan dollars than any other
Sure.
coin, but
I have a
they
lot.
you see so many of them. They're hard to get excited about. But something like this, you're like, oh, that's why we get excited about these weird coins that are so esoteric.
Yeah. So, okay, jumping into this thing, I saw this when you sent over the cert, and I was just blown away. I mean, this is the kind of a dream coin. Not that just dream coin for me to be able to deal in something like this one day would be fantastic. But we have an 1892 proof $20. So, what is the grade on this guy?
It's a 63 deep cameo with a CAC sticker.
Wow. I gotta ask. I mean, how did you come across this? Did somebody walk up to the table with this? Is this from another dealer or?
It's funny. Well, we've bought a number of proof 20s from various dealers. We have a couple of collectors that are putting together. It's hard to say a sets of proof 20s, but we have a couple of collectors that buy them on occasion. I guess a better way of putting it. And so we've bought a number of rarer proof 20s over the years from different dealers, and they tend to offer them to us before they do anything else with them. So this was a coin that actually it didn't technically happen at the show because the dealer that offered it to me wasn't at the show, but I was at the show, and he sent me a text message say, "Just bought this. Do you want it?"
Oh my god.
And I said, "What's the best price?" And he said, and he gave me his number, and I'm like, and after 5 minutes of texting back and forth, he's like, "You'll have it in the mail tomorrow."
Yeah.
So it came in. I got to look at it this morning, but I counted it as a show purchase because it happened while we were there, and it was from a dealer who surprisingly wasn't at the show. But coin is stunning. I mean, the True View doesn't capture the mirrors of the coin like in hand, because you look at it, you're like, "Oh, I can almost take this and shave in the morning with the looking through the
Wow.
mirrors." I mean, it's just
Wow.
so sharp. They can't quite capture the contrast, but the coin is just stunning in hand.
Oh my gosh. What stands out the most to me are these devices. It's just the execution of the design, the execution of the full design of Liberty here, how well it was struck, how perfect everything is. This is amazing. This really, really is quite incredible.
It's
And
really art when you look at that kind of thing, and you're
yes.
like, how did they make? We've been making coins for 250 years, but you look at this, and you're like, oh, this is really special.
Totally. Absolutely gorgeous coin. Totally. Um, cool. That's so cool. You guys get to deal and stuff like this and trade and stuff like this. This is fantastic. So Um, move on to some of my purchases that I got a couple of coins. These are some pictures that I took last night. It doesn't do a fantastic job with bringing out the color in this coin. The true view of this was a little bit brighter, but this was one of my favorite purchases. I picked up this 1872 2-cent proof, proof 66 red brown with a CAC sticker. And just this has a really lovely kind of purplish toning to the coin. This is a coin that just somebody came up and offered me a couple coins. Got an opportunity to buy this one and the next one. I think that some collector out there is looking for a type coin, looking for a proof 2-cent. Is going to really appreciate and enjoy that coin quite a bit. And the same person brought up also this coin, and I was super excited to purchase one of these. I think the 1921 piece dollar is one of the nicest, most interesting designs of US coins. And the 21 was done in this high relief design that really accentuated the features of the Liberty design on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. It was only a 1-year type. And I don't know if that's, I think there was a couple 1922s or something like that were made. Do you know off the top of your head about that?
Yeah, the 1922s that are technically patterns.
Okay.
So yeah, we always call it as a 1-year type, but the patterns, there are a couple of different pattern types, but they're exceedingly rare. So yeah, 1-year type is absolutely accurate. That's a cool coin. It's really pretty luster.
Thank you. Yeah, there's no shortage of 21 piece dollars out there, 21 high relief piece dollars. A lot of them are in 62, 63 that I typically come across. I've owned a couple in 64 and CAC, but this is a 65 CAC high relief piece dollar. So I think this is going to be a perfect coin for somebody out there. The reverse has a little bit of a light toning, but I don't think it in any way is negative. I just think it's kind of neutral. But the obverse is nice and bright, and the color that's on the periphery, I think, is also very, very pleasing, and overall very lustrous coin.
Very original. I like that.
Thank you. And then the last piece is this this half penny Hibernia. So I'm learning a lot more about these colonial coins, and this is not a U.S. coin. I think this was made in Ireland, I believe. I think. And then they were used over or circulated in the colonies. Do you know the story of this?
It makes sense that it was Ireland, but yes, it was definitely they definitely circulated here. That's what's neat about them.
Yeah, this is an early half penny. This is just another coin. I actually, somebody just sold this to me over at the show, and I thought this was really quite interesting and lovely. Nice early copper piece. This is something that is going to go, I think I'm going to send this to the CAC and see what their thoughts are on this 64 plus, see if I can get a sticker on this one.
It's a really pretty coin. I love these things, especially in high grade like that. I mean, they're very rare, very tough to find that nice.
That's one of the things I noticed when I bought this is there were a number of auctions and sales in the 61 or 62 side, but 64 plus was one of the, I don't think I found another 64 plus kind of out there. So I was happy to purchase this. I think the price guys are a little undervalued on this one, actually.
They don't, not enough of those trade hands, so they have a hard time finding all the pricing data on those and some of the more obscure coins. So I always tend to find colonials tend to be kind of slide under the radar, and they always seem to be a little undervalued, but they're very, very neat items.
Thank you. So I want to round things out. I've got a couple questions. These are fantastic questions, I think, for the collector out there, people that are going to coin shows. I'm a strategic thinker kind of guy. I always think about, like, how do I attack the show here today, this week, and so forth. For collectors attending a large show like Baltimore, what advice would you give them for making the most of it?
Well, before I answer that, I'm going to show you one more thing that I bought that I just thought was really cool.
Okay.
So this is a plaster designed by John Mercanti, who's one of the engravers for the U.S. Mint, that he did silver eagles and that kind of thing. I bought this at the show as well. This is of the U.S. Mint. Now, I had a collector that walked up with 5 of these, 2 of which are actual on coins, but they're like, it was a plaster before, not exactly the final version. That walked up at the table too, and that's the kind of thing I collect because I think it's really just kind of cool, neat art pieces and tell a little bit of a story. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So
Yeah.
sorry, what is the background on these things again?
I'm trying to figure out what the background is on this one. It's
Okay.
signed by John Mercanti, as you can see right there, who is one of the chief engravers from recent years. And it's a lot of times you'll find them with coin designs, and they'll use this to it's part of the minting process and the design process.
Mm-hmm.
This is of the first U.S. mint, so I have no idea what this was used for or why it was created, but a couple of the others ones that we picked up, I have a better idea, but this one was just kind of like, I want to hang that in my office, but I got to figure out
Yeah.
why it was made. So,
Yeah.
again, I'm a nerd. I'm going to like dive into this at some point when I get home. Like, why does this exist? It
Sure.
was kind of fun.
Oh, well, speaking of things hanging in your office, I've been looking at that flag behind you this whole time, and I've been wondering the story on that.
Um, I, I tend to buy historic things that I think are really cool that I like to hang on the wall. Like I have a gold nugget from the SS Central America on one side of the wall.
Oh,
I
wow.
have a letter granting a ship a rite of passage by Andrew Jackson on one wall. I have a painting of the Pantheon in Rome on one wall, and weird things. Once we had a printing of the Declaration of Independence, but on one wall, and a check signed by Ty Cobb. And those items have sold and moved on, and it makes me kind of sad. But I kind of find that some of the things that we're able to buy are more fun to hang on the wall and say, okay, I don't think I would necessarily buy this. My wife would never let me hang it up in my house. But it's kind of hang things up on the wall that you appreciate and enjoy looking at. But the flag back here um, was to give you the full view. It was
Yeah.
a flag that flew in a courthouse in the mid to late 1800s in Ohio, I believe it was, and it was torn to shreds. And someone bought it in an auction, literally in a plastic bag of shreds of a flag, and he had it matted and framed, and I saw it and I said, I want that. It was so beautiful. I said, that flag has got to have some amazing stories. It's slightly post Civil War. You can tell by the number of stars on the flag, but I'm not exactly sure what year it was, but I've got the history behind it. So,
Hmm.
but it flew at a courthouse in the Midwest somewhere. It's just kind of a cool little item that I just like it. It makes me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the coins we're dealing in and the history that we have. It makes it fun.
I like it. All right. So back to our
Sorry.
collectors. Our that was a great little segue. It's fantastic. I'm also quite a bit of a nerd myself, so I mean, seeing stuff like that, knowing the history about it, asking, it piques my curiosity. So, a collector is attending a large show like Baltimore. They step into the room on the first day. What advice would you give them for making the most of it?
Get there as soon as you can. So if you're there, at noon on Thursday when they're letting the public in, that's the best. You want the earlier you get there, the more coins you're going to see, the more items available for sale, the fresher the coins. You're kind of getting the earlier shot. The first day you can get there and kind of walk around. I'm a collector. I grew up collecting coins, so I would take if there's a program for the show. Now it was way before the internet, but now I look at the internet and figure out, okay, who's going to be at the show? What table are they going to be at? Who are the 5 people that I need to make sure I go see at the beginning of the show? You know, Cabbage Coin. I want to go look and see where Tony is over on the right side and make sure I go look and see what he has in his case there. And outline like the 4 places that I want to go. And if they had coins that on their website that I wanted to see, I've asked them to bring the coin with them,
Mm-hmm.
so I can go look at it. So if I'm giving Tony a call, hey, I want to see that proof 2 cent piece, I'm going to come by there and look at it first because I don't want to hold you from selling it to someone else, but I also don't want to miss out on the coin. So doing as much homework as you can on the front end before you go is always ideal. Sometimes you just show up at a coin show and you don't even know who's going to be there. So when I do that, one of my hobbies is my son Wes loves coin shows too, but from the collector side of things as well. I mean, he works here in the office, but he's a real collector, collects silver commemoratives. But I like to show up at small coin shows, not for DLRC, just like walking in, wearing a hat, I'm not a celebrity, but I don't want anyone to really realize I'm with DLRC. Just like to walk in and just look at people's coins and see what they have in their cases. And I like to make a round all the way around and make sure I catch everything really quickly with a quick glimpse. And if there's people in the way that I can't see in one case, I'll come back to it. But I like to make a quick circle around everybody, see what they have, and then figure out what tables I want to go back to see what they have. I'll write them down on a piece of paper, or I'll pick up a business card with make a quick note, say I got to come back to this table. But getting there early, doing as much homework as possible on the front end, and getting a quick glimpse of everything. That's always kind of my focus. I also like to, when I'm at a show at DLRC, like the Baltimore show, I do all of that first. I walk around, I see all the dealers, I see everything I want to see first. But I also want to wait till the end of the show, and before I leave, I want to walk around and get the feel of the coin show. Like I walked around towards the Whitman booth, the grading services, all the way in the back left corner at the show, just to kind of get the feel. And there's a waiting room that PCGS had in front of their booth, which I thought was really cool. It's like, oh, that's a great idea. They're so busy. They have a lobby area over there set up for people to fill out their forms on tables and sitting there. I'm like, I just like getting the feel of the coin show and seeing what's new. And then at the end of that, I'll walk around and just talk to all my friends, the people that I didn't get to see. Because when you've been in this business for a while, you get to know everybody. And I might not get to stop and talk to Tony for a long time at the show, but there's also people that from the West Coast that I see 3 times a year, and I want to go over and speak to them. So I just kind of try to, I like to carry on any conversation and see what's going on with everybody. So it's a chance to catch up with old friends. But, if you're, getting there early, scoping out the show, looking for the specialties that you're looking for, and then walking by the U.S. Mint booth, it's such an experience. The big coin shows are so huge. I mean, Baltimore is one, but then you go to a fun show or an A&A show, and that's overwhelming. But they're fun. I mean, I don't want to ever get into the fact that going to a coin show is not fun. And that's kind of what I always tell collectors, like, make sure you're enjoying it, make sure you're seeing what you want to see, and don't go to the mint to buy and flop the latest release, because we're not there just to make a few dollars. Hey, that's wonderful. That's nice.
Yeah.
But enjoy the experience of the coin show, see what's out there. Look at all the coins you can. I mean, that's the fun part, is seeing the coins.
Well, like what you said there about having a little bit of a lineup of who you're going to go see before you go, by taking a look at some of your favorite dealers' websites and asking to see if they can bring it to the show or get a chance to take a look at it in person, but look a lot different, look a lot better, in hand, and getting an opportunity to get a first crack, so to speak, at the show of the thing, I think is a very smart move. What are some common mistakes you see collectors make when buying or selling at shows?
Oh man, the most common mistake is buyer's remorse. Not that they bought something, but missing out. Sometimes you walk up to the table and you're like, that was a coin. You saw it and you're like, and then they say, but I haven't looked at the rest of the boards for. I need to go walk around and see the rest of it. And inevitably that coin's gone by the time they come back. And, it's frustrating, and I feel bad for them, because I'm like, I know, but it's hard to, sometimes you want to see everything, but sometimes when the right coin is in front of you, if it's $10 too much, or sometimes it's substantially too much, you find the right coin. Sometimes you have to buy the right coin. No matter what the price is, you find it and it's the right one. Don't second guess yourself. I'm the king of second guessing. When I'm buying coins, and if I'm making a pile of coins, I'll go through a box of coins, and I have the ones I know I'm going to buy. And then I make the stack over here, the coins I'm thinking about. So for me, it's I can sit there and I can still stare at them, and then make the decision by the end. Like, I know I paid a little bit too much, but this is the coin, but I want this coin. Sometimes you just have to do that, and you have to stretch your willingness a little bit, and your pocketbook doesn't like it, but in the end, often that's the coin that you don't want to miss out on.
Yeah, there is some quote that I know Q. David Bowers made that I've seen in publication. I think he nailed it perfectly. I want to see if I can research and find it for the show, and it's something to do with the fact that the feeling of saving a little bit of money goes away quickly, or it's not as important as the long-lasting sense of the satisfaction you get from buying the right coin. I forgot exactly what it was, and I'm not doing it
I know the
justice.
quote
But
you're saying too, but you're right. The gist is important. That's exactly the
yeah,
concept.
awesome. Well, for those who want to learn more about DLRC, you guys are kind of everywhere. For those who don't know, though, where can they find you online and follow your auctions or inventory updates?
Then go to davidlawrence.com or dlrcauctions.com. We send out a fun email every week on Thursday called Coins We Love, and it's kind of an email blog that we kind of talk about our travels or what's going on. And if you don't want to read about the coins, don't read about them. But we kind of try to share a little bit about what it's like being a coin dealer and traveling all over the place, or what collections are going on. And it's all about the hobby. We have so much fun with
Yeah,
this. Whether serving the hobby is so important here, and it's part of our passion is that we want the hobby to grow. We love the buying and selling of coins. It's such a wonderful hobby, and we have a lot of fun with it. So
yeah, yeah.
and don't ever be hesitant to reach out or say hello if you're at a show. I mean, that's why we're there. It's all about the relationships and the coin. So it's so much fun.
Any final thoughts for collectors heading into the new year?
Oh my goodness. There are some really cool auctions coming up. There's some really neat items that are coming up in some auctions in December and January. So keep your eyes open for those. Um, don't be, don't be shy about stepping up when you see something that's really cool. But then keep in mind, January, when the fun show comes around, if you haven't been to a coin show and you live up in the north and it's cold and snowy, come to Orlando in January, the first week at the fun show. It's kind of starts the year off right on the coin side of things, but it's a fantastic show. It's a lot of fun, and come see Tony and I and say hello. I mean, these big coin events. I mean, that's our next really big coin show, and it's one of the highlights of the year. But would love to see you there. But definitely try to hit up one of these big shows every year. It's worth the we used to take family vacations at coin shows. Not everybody's going to do that. I get that. Yeah. My wife would not like that now, but growing up, seeing these things, it opens up a whole new world of opportunities.
Yeah, if there's one thing going into the new year that I'd encourage folks out there to do, I'm going to say something very specific, and when that is to start a registry set. Start a registry set, PCGS registry set. I'm assuming you can start one with some of the other grading services as well, but PCGS is a great opportunity, and I think it gives a sense of purpose and direction for your collecting for the upcoming year. And I think that you're going to start on a journey that is going to take you to a variety of different coin shows. It's going to give you a reason to travel. It's going to give you a sense of purpose to build this set and then compete against other collectors. I think it really opens up the doors to understanding the hobby, understanding auctions, understanding how to pay up for quality coins that are going to allow your set to do really well. I think that's just one thing that I would encourage folks. Very specific advice for the upcoming year. So, all right, John, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. I will, I guess I'll be seeing you at the fun show, and I'll look forward to that PNG application.
Sounds good, Tony. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right. See you. Take care.
Bye-bye.